Good morning, everyone. In the words of a very famous Spanish conquistador, we did it. We did it. It's finale day. We made it through the entire season. Thank you for the few people in the background who got that joke. Oh, Lord.
Come on, Dora the Explorer.
Come on, Dora the Explorer. We did it. We did it. It's finale day. Another season about to be in the books in, 11 a.m. So in about 12 hours, we'll have another winner. So super excited. I have some amazing people to come and recap the last couple days and then kind of just talk about the season, what we liked, about the final three, give them their roses, because this is the last time we'll be here. So our production members, Lee, Kadri, Stokes, and K-Pow. And our special guest.
Hi. You gotta throw it back. Hi.
Finale night. Yay.
Lord Almighty. And our special guest. Special guest, he's here to pass off his crown. It's the winner of last season, BBH20. It's Gavin Cho.
You better work.
Woo!
Yeah.
The reign is over.
Finally.
Tell us about
And I was a known Gavin hater.
That's okay. Many were.
I was going to say a lot of people were.
Proved them all wrong, though. It's okay.
Special guest.
Oh, he did. He did. Gavin slit throats left and right. Everyone was a Cassie supporter, and Gavin said bye. Everyone was a Kevin supporter. He said bye. People were supporting Julie. He said bye.
And that's ultimately why I was like, you know what? I just have to stand. Let me stop hating and just
He
stand.
said your faves. Oh, they gone.
Mm-hmm.
Really great. But let's quickly recap the last couple of days, and then we can just talk about anything we want to. Because that's the fun part of the final tea. There's no rules. It's like whose line is it anyway? There are no rules. The points are made up. Nothing matters anymore. So,
What?
Girl, you never watched Whose Line Is It Anyway?
maybe that's just for us white people.
That's what we say about grad school, where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah.
Whose line is it anyway? Is absolutely for you white people.
Have you ever seen
No,
it?
Wayne Brady's on the show.
Yeah, it was hosted by Drew Carey.
Want me to explain that?
And
Still,
then Aisha Tyler hosted
Wayne
it.
Brady is for the white people.
What about Aisha Tyler?
Wayne Brady is not one of us. We do not claim him. Y'all get Wayne Brady. We'll take Paramore.
All right. Okay. I need you to take a stance. Aisha Tyler, yes or no?
Who the hell is Aisha Tyler?
Girl.
Never mind. We're moving on.
I'm Googling. One sec.
Mother. Aisha Tyler's mother. She was on
Actually,
Criminal
Aisha
Minds for a couple
Curry.
seasons. She's the voice of Lana on Archer. She's a comedian.
She's kind of funny. She's low-key kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, she's great. I like her a
What
lot.
else is she in?
Oh, I don't know. That's all I know from her. Anyway, where we left off, Liv has won the final HOH, and she has nominated Trey and Megs for eviction, and it comes down to the power of veto. We discussed this on the last tea about the dilemma of winning the final power of veto and kind of which route you should take. We talked about if you're Trey or Michael, do you take the guaranteed spot in the final two by going to the end with Liv and Megs to at least guarantee you get to pitch yourself? Or do you, if you're Trey, take the gamble of maybe not even being there to try and be against Michael, which I don't even know if he beats Michael anymore, to be honest, after the jury had a little spitty spat after Trey's eviction. So I don't even know if Trey would have won. So who fucking knows anymore? But we talked about all that would you rather fun stuff. But we have a few situations here. Either Trey's the sole voter who will evict Megs if he wins the veto. Either Megs is the sole voter if she wins the veto and she's evicting Trey. Or we have Michael as the sole voter if Liv or Michael wins the veto. During the day, Liv had told Michael, hey, I want you to remain the sole voter because she is afraid that Trey will actually evict Michael, thinking that if Trey brings Liv and Megs to the final three, he's guaranteed a chance to fight for it. When obviously Trey is more so taking the riskier approach of, no, I would rather bring Michael to the final three and hope that I can sit next to him for the win rather than probably lose next to Liv or Megs. Liv told Michael, hey, I think Meg should go here. And Michael's like, yep, we're on the same page. Got you. When in all reality, Michael has told Megs that there is no chance in hell he is not her here. In that his final two with Megs is the most important thing to him. Even though he did propose a final two to Trey, he is taking the approach of, well, I never promised Trey that I would bring him to the end. Did I propose a final two? Sure, but I didn't promise anything. So,
I think, sorry to cut you off, Carl. I think that a lot of people are misinterpreting their conversations with Michael because I do think he was very intentional about like, because if we remember back to when Megs pitched the final two to him and he was like, I don't know how to handle this because I've never had this conversation with somebody before. And I think a lot of people overestimated this, like what they interpreted, their interpretation of his words without actually listening to what he said, which was because I don't remember, like Trey and Olivia and Megan have all like been saying the last couple of days that they thought they had a final two with Michael, but I don't ever remember hearing him say to them, we are going to the final two together.
I think the only person that he has said final two words, rewind, Liv, Megs, not Trey.
he did to Trey, but under the pretenses that it was Kara's revenge at the end. So he did say it, but it was under those, but it was like that, like if statement, if we are the final three, then me and you are final twos. But Trey took that as, oh, we're final twos. Because this was when Michael and Trey are real pissed at Liv for nominating Michael instead of Megs at the final six, and they're on that call. Right. They're heated, and they're like, "Well, we're going to be final two. Fuck her." But think that was
right.
Even if it's not fuck her, they should be taking each other at that point. My controversial statement on this is, at final four, you should probably just have a final two with every person left.
I agree.
Like you should have a contingency that any person might want to go to final two with you. That's not. I don't think that that's even controversial. I think that you should be open and willing to go with anyone, hoping that anyone will be open and willing to go with you.
And you should entertain it.
Having these conditional final twos with everybody.
What?
How'd that work out for you, Lee, in 15?
I made the final two.
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just being.
I mean, we don't agree on a lot, but I agree with Lee here. Like, I think I have no problem.
K-Pal's joined the dark side. It's a sad day, everybody.
No, but I have no problem with people making multiple final twos. Like, I don't know, whatever you need to do to get yourself to those two seats. I mean, we've seen stranger things happen, right, at jury questioning, because you could read the jury this way till Sunday, but you never actually know what they're thinking. So if you could get yourself there, then you have a shot, even if it's a 0.1% chance. Like, you could win if you're there.
I feel like if you only have one final two, then you only see yourself as having one path. And if that person gets knocked out, or if they like backstab you, then you kind of run out of your paths. Like you get, your game kind of falls apart if you lose your only final two and you've been so locked in and tunnel visioned on it.
I think go ahead, Gavin. You go.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I think at that point in the game, everybody already knows that like you have to win in order to guarantee your spot. And so there's just kind of a built-in assumption that everybody else is making deals left and right. And so you're almost the odd person out in most games, I think, if you're not, making these deals with people. Because ultimately the person who wins is going to make the decision that's best for their game, regardless of whether or not, you have a final two with them or not. So I think you just got to do it to insulate yourself as best you can.
Yeah.
Didn't you and Liz have a final two? And
yes, and I also had one with Kevin.
Yeah,
so like,
Yeah, Gavin promised both final two or both final three people something, and then
But you should.
let Liv's
Yeah.
throat.
I think in theory I agree with you all on this, and I'm not like that, like, but in the context of this situation with this jury who has been like
Very
bitter
against that.
boots about like
Yeah.
bitter boots of, can you shut the fuck up, Kadri? Who has been like bitter boots about honesty and like
Yeah.
integrity and like my word is my bond bullshit. Like
Yeah.
they've been really up in arms about that. They were ripping Trey apart for having a bunch of final twos that he wasn't ultimately going to be loyal to, but somehow Michael's getting off scot-free for having the same situation. Like that's weird to me, but
Yeah.
also like you have that going on, but then I don't know. And then in the context of this game, I just feel, I don't know. I agree with what you guys are saying, but I feel like in this specific context, it's not giving what it needs to give. It's not working out that way.
I think
Stokes, it's the hypocrisy. It's the they can't do it, but it's okay for me to do it.
yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I
Mhm.
think my stance is more towards the end game. So especially like once you get to the final three, make a final two with both people, because you should if you can burn one juror, it is the person you're going to cut at final three. Because in most cases, the person who gets cut at final three is not voting for the person who cut them to win. So you should already count on that person to not vote for you to win. So make your final twos with everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always down. Yeah, like make deals. Yeah, I mean, the last juror is going to be the most hurt by anything that happens, and that's just because they were literally this close. And I say fuck it, but yeah, this jury for whatever reason, and maybe today they have woken up and chosen peace and got out all their crystals to choose
I doubt
not
it.
violence, but
Yeah, I know. I highly doubt that.
I highly doubt it
What's
as
the
well.
Louise
but-
quote? I wish you peace and whatever.
I wish you. What did she say?
I wish you peace and love in trying to overcome your anger. I have put that into my repertoire of retorts because it is so good.
Girl, the jury woke up yesterday and chose fucking violence.
And
Mhm.
I woke up this morning and reread it, and
It's so
was
good.
really flabbergasted at the shit that they were discussing. Not what they were discussing, how they were discussing it, and the things that they were choosing to be mad about.
Basically,
was-
for those uninformed, Trey gets evicted, and then the morning after he's evicted, he reads through the entire jury chat and just starts replying to messages that are up above from the earlier jurors, being like, "I don't agree with this, don't agree with that, don't really like that you said this about me, don't like that either." And then he tagged Louise because he replied to one of Louise's comments. And that Louise and Trey got into it. Louise is like, I said this because you did this and you did do it. And Trey's like, no, I didn't. So they got into a big old argument. And there came a comment where Louise had called Trey spineless because Louise was upset that Trey didn't talk to
Girl,
her.
they were fighting. It was bad.
Louise calls him. She said, "You wee man," and that would have set me. That would have set me over the edge. I would have come.
It was bad enough that I felt the need to like tag the jury and say, "Hey, everyone, it's been like really great season of not being toxic and nasty, so maybe we should stop."
And they still kept going.
Oh, they did.
And it's so interesting to talk about this because we won't get to comment much on the jury other than have the stream later.
Yeah.
But honestly, the person who wins the award for crack, who I'd like to steal so I could smoke it instead, is Jabbar, because Jabbar starts talking about like
Girl.
Michael and how Michael and this is not against Michael, so please don't
No, it is.
think
It
about
is.
this. But Jabbar starts talking about in his pitch to why he thinks that Michael has played a good game, that it reminds him of the best Big Brother winner of all time, Andy Herron. And it throws me off the top of a building. It just
not off the top of the building.
Yeah,
Y'all would be nice. Y'all are being nasty right now. Let's
I'm
be
being
nice.
nasty to Andy Heron, and I hope someone says it to Andy Heron because I don't
At
like him,
Morning
but-
Tea, it's been a really great season of not being nasty and toxic on tea. Let's keep it that way.
Pause,
Listen,
rewind.
if I'm gonna be toxic, it's gonna be to reality show winners Andy Heron, Adam Klein. I hate you both. Anyway,
yeah, Andy's pretty terrible. Anyway,
But
yeah, like we mentioned that the jury is heated because I think that also will come into play tonight. Just like it could. That's the thing. Like we'll have emotions. I do think, lucky enough for us, the emotions are within the jury themselves versus at the final three. But who is to know if?
I think most people are really happy with them. Like I think most people like think the final three is really strong, and they're not like maybe they're like, oh, I wish you had like I need some clarity on why you said this to me or why you did this to me, but I'm not like mad. I'm not gonna like get up there and like yell or roast you or whatever. So
right.
I think the only exception could be if Michael continues. Like if Michael says, "Oh yeah, I told Trey final two, but didn't mean it. I told Liv final two, ultimately didn't mean it." Like that might not end well, and people might take that really poorly. But like other than that, this jury I think will be very kind tonight.
In some capacity tonight, I don't care if Liv is in the final two. I don't care if she's asking this as a juror. I don't care when it happens, but I need it to happen. I need the on-air reaction to when Liv finds out that Michael was going to take Megs to the final two. I need that. I need to see that goop, the goop and the gag that she's going to have when he reveals that.
I'm pretty sure that you'll see her on the stream in a place you don't recognize, and it's because she's behind Michael's house.
Lord Almighty.
You think the confessional she made round two was bad?
How do you play the clip? I love that video so much.
It's truly lived rent free since fucking day 6. It's so fucking good.
It goes from live, laugh, love to live, laugh, die.
I think Michael's just gonna have his kids answer all of his questions tonight.
And
honestly, I pray he locks his kids up.
Been invested in the game enough to answer the questions like spot on. So,
like for y'all didn't watch Crime Board, which was the veto, which I guess is next on our agenda anyway. Which you saw Trey's run. Michael is literally seamlessly going from in the game to dad mode back to in the game. He's like, okay, so who played in this competition? His kid needs something. He's like, oh my God, that's so cool. Oh my God, that's so awesome. Go save that. No, save that. Send it to yourself. Yeah, great. Okay, so who played in this competition? Like, it is so, and he's doing this like 6 or 7 times because his kids will not let him breathe. It is so funny to be him going like, okay, so this person voted out with 4 votes.
Sarah D, here's what we need from you tonight, love.
Grab his kids.
You need to go over to you need to go to his house and you need to watch the kids. Do a viewing party of the finale. Get some snacks, get some drinks.
Take all the remotes.
Yep, viewing party. Let Michael go upstairs.
Slip them a couple things of melatonin. they make kid gummies with melatonin in it. So
they do. They do.
They
or
do
just
so,
Benadryl.
About 4 or 5, and they'll be good.
Fuck the label. Truly. Y'all so can crack the shit too late. You're right. Sure, he's gonna be fucking.
No, and Quadri, I got the screen grab of you saying that people should drug kids.
No, and they absolutely do, because some of these kids are on like actual crack and do need like several chill pills. So like, if drugging them calms them down, I'm about it.
Oh my Lord. Anyway, moving on.
We have lost the point of.
But I do hope Michael can be uninterrupted and laser focused tonight, because if his kids come in and interrupt, Michael's going to lose the train of thought of any question he's asked. So I'm hoping
I don't think that's a bad thing with him. Like you got Jabbar, Trey, Erica, like in the jury, like they are going to eat that up if he's like going between game mode and dad mode. Oh my God, it's so sexy.
Trey's not voting for him. He already said last night.
Yeah, there's no way Trey's voting.
Yeah, Trey's not voting for him.
Trey has said a lot of things.
Well, fair, I'll give you that. But Liv wins the final power veto easily. I mean, kind of scary. Her time.
Megs did great. Megs did great.
But I mean, when she's half the time of Megs.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, Megs did show her stuff. I think Megs' issue is she didn't peruse the entire board first. She focused on a couple sides of the board that had too many answers instead of looking at the other side. She shot on the left side, which had way too much open-endedness. On the right side, there was a lot more concrete people that had to go there. And had she started on the other side, she would have finished a lot quicker. But she still did well. But Liv wins. We hop on call as a 4, and she goes, Michael, are we good with what we discussed earlier? Michael.
Period.
And she goes, fine, great. Then I'm not using the veto then.
This is why, I mean, like for the drama, I'm glad she didn't take the discussion time, but you take every discussion time you are allowed.
Absolutely.
Ever. Because so much can change unless you just got off the phone with him, which you didn't. So much can change.
I have a hot take on that. I don't think it would have changed. I think
he was going to lie to her.
I don't think even if she had taken the discussion time, Michael has been lying to everyone left and right, and he's been doing a really good job of it about what his intentions are and keeping things hidden. He has kept his final 2 with Megs an absolute secret from everyone in the game since the final 7. I don't think it would have changed anything. Yes, you take the discussion time. I absolutely agree with you. I don't think it would have changed anything.
I agree, other than, she's been spiraling so much that maybe she'd pick up on something and be like, maybe I don't know. Or maybe if she would get the assurance from Trey or something, she would rethink it. Like if she could get the sense that maybe Michael would have a harder time making the cut or something like that. Because I think that's something else is I don't think Michael would have hated if Megs got cut. I just don't think he wanted to do it.
Correct.
So I think that like if she was like, hey, I'm going to use it on Trey so he'll cut Megs, I don't think that Michael is going to fight that. But I don't think that he's going to be like, yeah, I'll cut Megs and not or say like, oh, I'm wavering. But I do think regardless, you take the time.
Yeah, you take the time and make a more educated decision with more time to talk to everyone. And she pays the ultimate price at the end of the day. She doesn't get what she wants, and the jury definitely has some thoughts about it. But let's get to Michael's 40-minute spiral. I mean, because the jury and the pre-jury, and some of y'all in the VL were like, are we voting yet? And I'm like, I said we'd vote when we come back. And for some reason, we're still discussing this vote. Like, we're still here. So
I think one of the things that's so interesting about this and where I do have to really like applaud Michael is he came into this knowing what he wanted to do. And you have 2 of the most convincing people in this game who are pitching to him. And also the last people he talks to. So he's had space away from Megs. Trey is a very manipulative, convincing person. And Liv is very convincing from like a more logical perspective. And the fact that Michael was able to really like dig his heels in and not push back, but I think Michael saw his easiest approach to just like soak it in and make it look like he's hearing rather than fighting back, because it seems like, hey, if I fight back, they're just going to keep coming at me with points. Instead, just like soaks it up, makes them think like they're being heard, and then comes in and does what he does. But I was really impressed because I think that, the Michael we've seen earlier in the game, I would have been led to have thought he could have had his mind changed.
No, that's very fair.
I think. Oh, go ahead, K-pop.
I was also going to say, I also think that with Liv and Trey not having the whole picture of Michael's final 2 with Megs, I think some of the things that they were saying in some ways also made Michael want to keep Megs more, because they were harping on this like loyalty aspect. You are a loyal person, like you're going to stick to your word, not knowing what his word actually was. So in some ways they were like adding fuel to the fire of saying like, what are you going to feel the best about? Like you're going to feel the best about like being the most loyal, not really knowing. and
Yeah,
also
they-
not really knowing what his
Mhm.
true
Yeah.
loyalty and intention was in the game. They were like missing his point of view.
And that's what's really working for him right now. I mean, it's working and not working for him at the same time as the preconception of who Michael is. It is working for him in the sense of the surprises that he has had and why the jury is like, oh, he's surprising us. He has risen to the occasion. And the cons are he has hurt people because they assume when he tells him, I got you, they're like, oh, well, that means final two. Like, Michael wouldn't lie to me. And it's also hurting him in the sense of everyone in the jury just kind of assumes he has no intentionality, that every move he makes is somehow guided by someone in the game. So like it helps and hurts. So he has basically about an hour and a half of jury questions to unravel all of the preconceptions about him. It'll be interesting to see if he can do it, but it helps and hurts. And this is where it really hurt Liv and Trey and how they approached him. So he hops on call with Trey immediately, and Trey is like, Megs and Liv beat everyone. You need to give yourself the best chance of winning, which is against me. You need to bring me to the end, and I promise to bring you, Michael, to the end. And Michael's like, my biggest concern is that Liv and you are going to bring each other, and I'm forcing myself into a must-win situation. And Trey's like, that's not the truth. He's like, Liv might bring me, but I'm not bringing her. In all reality, everyone's bringing Michael at this point. Everyone's been bringing Michael since, except for maybe Megan. Megan might have brought Trey if he was an option at the final three, but a lot of people from the final six on, and Jabbar might not have, obviously, because he's up on the block against Michael. But if the nominations were different, I think Jabbar might have opted to take Michael to the end as well. Everyone's bringing Michael. And Trey's like, at the end of the call, he's like, do whatever you think is best for your character that you're going to feel the best about doing, unknowing that he wants to stick to the promise he made to Megs. Even though like his heart is saying save Megs because that's what he promised and he wants to stick to his word. His head is telling him get rid of Megs because he knows that Trey is an easier beat than Megs is. So like, but he ultimately he plays with his heart. He is a soul that, while he has lied a lot in this end game, he doesn't like to lie. He's not been having fun this end game. This hasn't been easy for him at all, and I think he's really struggling with this. But I think he needs to stick to his heart and feel like that's what's best. While Michael's having his literal like midlife crisis in his mid-30s because of this damn game. Liv and Megs are hunky-dory laughing on this call by themselves, and another call being like, ha ha ha, our rivalry's so hysterical because Liv's thinking, ha ha, Megs is going, and Megs on the call going, ha ha ha, she thinks I'm going, but I'm not going. While Michael is literally chugging 8 bottles of water as he's losing his mind because he's like, oh God, what do I do? Like, how do I do this? Finally, he calls with Megs. I'm like, please just hop on call with Megs. Like, just call Megs. And Megs is like, hey, this is your game-winning move to boot Trey. All anyone sees you as right now is a social player. And sure, you've got some comp wins to you, but all everyone sees you as a social player. This is your moment to show you've got social, you've got comps, and now you have strategy. This is how you guarantee yourself in the final two, and this is how you cut down Liv and Trey, and you make sure that they can't take each other at the final three. You force Liv to have to take you. You don't give her that option. And she's just so comforting on this call. It's such a difference. Go from Trey to Megs to Liv back to Trey. Megs is just such, and it's just her calm energy in general. And I'm not saying that Liv or Trey were aggressive because I don't think they were. I just think comparatively, when you look at Megs, who is just so calm, she doesn't raise her voice. She's very collected. Like Megs knows that this could be the end for her, and she's still fine. Like she seems at peace. And in versus Trey and Liv, who are pitching, saying like giving all these big bombastic speeches as to why Megs has to go, and they're pleading for their lives. It's just such a stark difference. And I think this really appealed to Michael's heart to just feel like he was just being heard and listened to and not being pitched at, but being pitched to. Like it just felt like they resonated with each other on this call. And I think that has been such a testament to why Megs and Michael have come together at this end game, despite Megs not really trusting Michael at all for the entire pre-jury. Hell, she nominated him in round 2,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until Megan said, Michael, trust Megs, and then Megs really invested the time with him, and now here we are with the possibility of them being the final two together.
Megs is one of the few people, like, and there are a couple of people in the pre-jury phase. Like, I think Rizzo did this with him as well, but I think they are the few people that made Michael feel like they were playing the game with him rather than he was playing the game for them. And I feel like Liv and Trey especially have talked to Michael a lot, like he was playing for them. Like, you know, and I think one of the things that, I don't know if this went through his head, but Liv and Trey's pitches to him sounded very similar, and that would not put me any more at ease that they are not going to take each other to the final two, because it seems like they've corroborated this argument together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we got on this program in the first 10 days and begged Michael to find other options.
Yep.
We begged him to see through the fact that Caro and Olivia were just stringing him along. They didn't actually come to him when they had the opportunity to make decisions. He was the last person that they talked to. We begged him to see that. And when at the final 7, Megs had the foresight to say, I think Michael's going to be at the end and I want him to choose me and I need to lock that down now.
Yeah.
Is going to be, unfortunately, in my opinion, I think the thing that makes Liv lose this game.
It might be the game-winning move. I mean, it comes down to part 3, obviously, but if Megs wins part 3, it is and this is what I'm talking about, everyone. And no offense to all you orgers out there, all you hoes love these fucking big, fucking flashy ass moves to win a game. Sometimes it is the small moves that set up the big ones that have the biggest impact. Sometimes it's the quietest things that happen in the dark that are the most powerful. And it's her bonding with Michael and prioritizing Michael that could win her the entire game. And it's so powerful.
I think one of the things about Megs that I really admire is, and this is not a negative, I know this word is used negatively, but I think Megs is one of the more opportunistic orgers I've seen play, in that she just takes advantage of opportunities that she sees open themselves up to her really well.
Yeah, she's so good. But I think
and
that's
unfortunate. I mean, on the flip side, Liv, who has always felt like she had Michael in her back pocket, never made the effort to prioritize him until it was like final 5, and then she started saying, Michael, we're going to the end together, but at that point it's too late. You missed the opportunity. So,
and she still had him at final 6. Michael was telling his prod chat, I'm between Liv and Megs as my top person. I don't know who it is just yet. And Liv then nominates Michael at the final 6, and it ended all doubts for him. He said, great, I know exactly who my top person is. Had she nominated Trey, maybe she still loses him. I don't know. But had Liv maybe been more honest about why she wasn't putting up Megs at the final 6, maybe he would have her back here. I don't know. We'll never know.
I definitely don't want to, and I don't want to like make it seem like Liv was a bad ally to him, because I don't think that that's the case.
No,
I just think
I disagree. They were plotting his demise and talking about when they could cut him and when it was expendable to lose him for the first 6 rounds of this game. So
I think Liv was a better ally to him than most, though, because I think Caro was more guilty of that, and I think once Liv was
Liv and Caro were doing that together. Yeah, I'm not trying to dump on Liv, but I'm not letting her get away with. I'm not going to rewrite history, because she only came together with Michael when it became convenient for her to do so. When she needed him.
Where I about everyone on this cast, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
but it was at jury. It was only until at the jury phase when Dancing Queen came together that Liv actually made Michael a priority. Started to make Michael a priority. Yeah. Before that, he was in
pre-jury. It was really just Christian and Rizzo that.
I was going to say, the only allies Michael really had early are in the pre-jury.
I also want to give Megan some credit in this too, because she was also the one who, in her pitch to stay, was talking to Michael about Liv and Trey and how close that they were. and that they had a final 2.
Yeah.
And I think that also, put that idea in Michael's head about, what was happening. And I don't know if it was Trey and Liv not prioritizing Megan as much either, but she definitely, I think, added to.
I don't think Liv ever prioritized Megan. I think they just were.
Yeah, but I don't want to
Basically,
keep
like,
dumping on.
But
The,
was Megan the one that talked with Michael and like gave him advice on like how he needs to be pitching to people?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
a very crucial moment for Michael, I believe.
At the split house.
Yeah.
At the split, and that's why, and people, y'all can all say I'm biased, but that's why I give Megan a lot of credit for.
Oh, girl,
shut the fuck up. She deserves a lot of credit for Dancing Queen because at the split house, when they had to make that choice between Christian or Michael, she really made an effort to keep Michael in the game, but not only keep him in the game, inform him about how he should talk to Megs, how he should talk to Erica, how he should talk to Sarah. And when they came back together, they made a really strong connection at that point in time. And Megan has said this, you're welcome, Michael, for getting Megs to trust you, getting Trey already trusted him, but getting Megs specifically to trust you to even make sure that this could happen. And so Megan gets a lot of credit for all of that. She's also, unfortunately, the person who pays the price for connecting Megs and Michael, because she's a casualty of their final 2, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you 100% because Megan also she owed Michael nothing. He had done her wrong in the very first round of the game. And I think, Michael had done a lot with his allies where it's like, if you do me wrong, it's okay, I'll forgive you. But Megan is really the only person that ever showed that back to him. Mm-hmm. And I think, I still am, and not to rehash the final 5 round, but I think that, she had a lot of really good pitches as to why he should have kept her. And I think, yes, I give her so much credit for this move and how he handled the Megs vote and the Trey vote. But I agree. I think Megan has so much that, funny enough, I think Megs owes Megan a lot of things.
No, she does. Like, Dancing Queen was Meg's idea, but it doesn't happen without Megan. Mm-hmm. Like, Michael is not gonna come working together with Megs just because Megs asked. Trey is not working with Megs unless Megan asks, and Liv's not doing it without Trey's approval. That entire group relied on Megan saying this is best for us, and she got everyone on board. So, like, as much as it was Megs' idea, Megan is while Megs is the founder of Dancing Queens, she's the co-founder. She made that shit happen, and that's why she's so upset with Megs and how that round happened, because she's like, you owe me for why you're here. You should owe me, and how you're paying me back is evicting me. Like, I hope you know that. And if you have not watched her X interview, please go watch it. But that's the main thing she wants from Meg. She wants a thank you.
Truly, Preston's impact on Megan.
I mean, you're not wrong though. It's like
I think that's the domino of it all.
Very much so. Like the fact that the end game of and I can't believe I'm gonna say this. The end game of BBH20 results back to a conversation that Preston had on his way out of the door at Final 14 is wild.
When Preston said, Megan, there are people in this game that really want to like you more, but they fear that you're with the wrong people. Please go and prioritize them in Sarah and Erica and Megs. Please go give them more of your attention. And she does, and that's ultimately then forms Dancing Queens. Truly wild. Preston player of the season. I'm kidding.
Preston may not want to know that his domino effect is what potentially makes Liv lose the game, but
truly Preston and Caro.
But that's how we end day 34. Is, I mean, Liv and Trey still try their best to try and convince Michael, saying the jury's not going to respect you keeping Megs because she's the front runner. This is your move to make, to cut the front runner and get all of the blood on your hands. This is what you want. Trey makes a pitch that I don't want to talk about because I really just did not like it at all. And I'm moving on from it. I refuse to give it the airtime because I just really hate the pitch. Nothing bad, nothing he said that crossed the line. I just really don't like the pitch, and I don't want to put that idea into the ether for you people that are watching to use it in your future games. I'm not even going to give you that idea, so I'm not even going to give it the airtime.
It just clicked what it was.
I don't like it, and I will not give it the airtime. So Michael evicts Trey, and I mean that's the only words he could muster on that night. I evict Trey. That's all he could get to, because he loves Trey so much that if he says any more, he's going to start crying. And I immediately also cut him off. I'm like, babes, I know you're about to have an emotional like meltdown, so I'm going to mute you and I'm going to stop you from talking because I can see that you are also distraught. So Michael evicts Trey. The jury is absolutely, well, let me rephrase. Some of the jury is absolutely obsessed with this move. I think it's rooted in the fact that they really just disliked Trey. And we're very happy to see him, because I think that I truly think deep down they were going to always vote for Trey over Michael. I really do. And I think that they just didn't want to have to vote for Trey. And I think they were so happy to see Trey leave, so they don't have to do that.
This was a choose the lesser of evils, like Trump versus Biden.
Whoop. Not that. And so the jury's loving that. They think that, I mean, and rightfully so, Liv's game takes a big hit for a lot of the jurors, because now this is twice now that her HOH, she's been blindsided in an HOH round where she should have all control. There should be no reason she doesn't get what she wants. The first time was at 13 in the split house where Caro leaves, and now this time is at Final Four when Meg should leave, and she doesn't get that either. So Liv's game takes a hit for that, but also a lot of the jurors have been talking about how they urged her to get rid of Megs at Final Six. And Liv was like, no, I don't want to do that for X, Y, and Z reasons. And they're like, no, you can beat all of us in challenges. And Liv has yet to lose a challenge since that round, a thing she's eligible for. She has won the Final Five veto and both of the Final Four challenges. So people in the jury are like, we told her that she'd still win with or without Meg still there. So she should have just taken Megs out, and she's won everything that she's competed in. So some of the jury is also like, she took this riskier road in for what? She could have just taken the comp win out strat. So Liv's game definitely taking another hit, considering Megs is still in the game. And the person who's eating up this move the most is Jabbar, because Jabbar was on the block against Michael at the Final Six, saying, Michael's not going to choose y'all. I will choose y'all, though. I will go after Megs and Liv. I can compete against them. I can win against them. Michael's not going to do that. Michael's going to choose them over you. And they're like, no, we're not going to piss off Dancing Queens. We're going to stick strong to it, and we'll make a way to make it work. And Michael will choose us, because Michael's not going to bring the two frontrunners to the end. And Jabbar just sitting there.
Talking about Andy Herron.
Getting yeeted 5th and 4th at the hands of Michael Bergeron. So Jabbar is eating up this move. So here we are at our final three of Megs, Liv, and Michael. It is a must win for Liv tonight if she wants to be able to pitch her case. So Liv has to win final three HOH she wants to be there, or part 3 of the final HOH she wants to be there. Megs and Michael will take each other. Oh, the hell happened?
Huh?
Who did that?
Oh.
Girl,
not you saying you hate all of us.
Yeah, I didn't even touch that. What the fuck? Who did that?
Oh, Stokes was trying to take himself off the stream. And
I was like, babes, who the fuck did that? Yeah, Megs and Michael will sit against each other if either of them win. I have a sneaking suspicion it'll be Liv and Megs fighting off in part 3, because Megs has already won part 1. Liv and Michael will face off at 6 p.m. in part 2. Just based off of the game trivia challenges we've done thus far, I can't imagine Michael is going to come out of the woodwork and shock us all. But hey, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, it's just so interesting, because I understand why Liv wanted Michael to win part one because Liv could have absolutely beaten Megs pretty easily, I think, at game trivia.
Yeah.
But juror statements just become so much more up in the air. Like, you have to at least be privy to what's happening in the game. But like, Megs can absolutely hold her own against Liv and jury questions.
Yeah, and she's worried. I mean, everyone knows what's happening here. I mean, as much as Liv is unaware that Michael would take Megs over her, I don't think Michael's going to be a factor for that situation to even arise. It doesn't really matter. So tune in tonight at 9 p.m. for the finale when Megs and Liv most likely face off in part 3 to decide the winner of the season. But it's not over. The jury is still very open to Michael. I think the jury questioning tonight is way more about Michael proving himself than Liv or Megs having to prove themselves. The jury is very much high on both Liv and Megs and are hoping Michael will rise to the occasion. They're trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but right now I think most of the jury would vote for one of the two ladies. But it's not over. Like, they are willing to hear him out, but they need to hear intentionality. They need to hear a lot of things. Most of tonight will be about strategy, and he's got to be prepared. So, But we're at the final 3. Any thoughts, comments, Season, about any of the final 3? Let's talk about anything we want. Gavin, I haven't heard from you in a minute.
No, I mean, I think something that I wanted to say about Michael's game is I think that it's going to be tough to compete in the final 3 HOH against two people who have proven themselves to be extremely competent at these comps, especially at the end game. But I do think that Michael has the framework of social maneuvering and also winning comps and making decisions that ultimately I do think were for himself. I think that he is battling perception, though, and that's going to be a really tough thing to beat if he's sitting at the final 2. And I just think that the biggest thing that he has to do is he has to, and hopefully he's spending some time today to really just think about how he's going to articulate the things that he needs to, because I do think that there's a possibility in which he's able to have an absolutely stellar showing at the finale in which he's able to pull out all these moves and articulate the things that he's done with intentionality in a really impressive way. But there's a lot of things going against him, but also people do love to root for an underdog. So I think that if he's able to put the pieces together for the jury, that he might be able to tell a pretty compelling story.
He's a great talker. Like, he can, what's the word? He's a good wooer. He has a lot of appeal. He has a lot of woo energy to be able just to get people invested in him. It's just, this jury sadly is full of org vets, and they're not gonna sit by and accept empty words. They have to have meaning.
My main concern for Michael is, like, when you're on a call with him, you just can't help but root for him because he just makes you so excited. But my concern for Michael is that he is going to fall into this category of, like, everything you say can be held against you. And I think he's going to say too much that could be held against him. Like, I think because he's such, like, a caring and like compassionate ally, I think whoever he's sitting next to, I think he's going to give a lot of credit to them inadvertently. Yeah. And that could just put the nail in the coffin for him.
Yeah, like some jurors have said, if he gets on jury questioning and says that final 5, like, a lot of people, the biggest question I've heard, or the 2 biggest questions, will be, why did you go to the final 5 with Dancing Queens, and why did you save Megs to the final 4? And many jurors have said, if he says the answer to why did I go to the final 5 with Dancing Queens, if the answer is I was loyal to them, they're my group, I promised final 5 and I wanted to stick to that, it's an auto loss for them. They're like, I'm not voting for him if that's the answer. He has to have a more well-crafted answer as to why he was insulated in that group and why going to the final 5 and booting people like Louise and Nikki and Lamont and Jabbar made the most sense for him. He can't just say that was my group.
I think he can defend the Megs move better, because I think that he defended it to try and live why he did it. Yeah. And I think that, like, on paper, you can't expect Michael to know everything that everyone outside of the game knows. You just can't. But I think on paper, like, you can say it's logical for him to think, like, I want 100% chance of even getting to the seat. I don't think that that's an illogical explanation. No. but I agree. I think the Dancing Queens one will be harder for him to defend. The Megs move, not so much.
The problem is that question, the one about why'd you save Megs, is not coming. It's coming from Trey, which I think is going to be difficult just because Trey will sit there going, I would have brought you to the end. Like, and you threw away the shot to be against me and you would rather go against Megs. Please explain to me why that makes sense in your head. And I don't know if there's a good answer to that.
Well, there is a
other than I just didn't trust you.
There is a good answer, but it doesn't make Trey feel good. And that answer was, I didn't trust you to win a comp, but
and maybe so, but like,
fair.
I mean, the question's going to come from Trey, and it's going to be hard to refute. And Trey's like, I would have brought you. So now I ask you, would you rather sit against Megs or me? And if you say Megs again, I think the jury's going to be like, now, Michael, babes, what are you doing? Because again, like, I think why the jury was so high on the move was that the jury also thought that Michael was making the guaranteed spot for Final Two, and they were really high on that. But if they learn that Trey also was going to bring him, then...
But he can't be held responsible for knowing that. Michael can't be held responsible for. He doesn't know what Trey's going to do. So, like, yes, I hear what you're saying, but it's also not his. They can't crucify him for not knowing what Trey is going to do.
It depends how he paints Trey in terms of how he approaches the dancing queen. Like, again, it depends how he paints his picture of how he views Trey. Because if he goes, I love dancing queens, they were my people, I trusted Trey so much. Like, it's going to reach a point. Yeah, like, he's going to have to, when he talks about Trey, he's going to have to be like, I loved Trey and I trusted Trey 98%, but that 2% about him choosing Liv over me always lingered. But if he's like, oh, I trusted Trey 100%, I didn't think for a second he wouldn't bring me. Like, he has to make sure that he leaves that ounce of doubt for people, because if he starts to contradict himself, that's going to be like, so what did you believe? Like, did you trust Trey or did you not trust Trey?
I think especially when you get into, I mean, even in the Megs of it all, like, as soon as she's able to talk about her side in it, it's going to become much more of a Megs play, or a Megs gets credit for the relationship she built with Michael. I think,
and she should.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
To be very clear, she should.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm super excited to see what Michael's going to do. I mean, his game for me is so jury focused. Like, pre-jury, he absolutely, I mean, a win in the first round to likely avoid a first boot. Like, could you, like, if he doesn't win the BBH arcade, dare I say, Michael Bergeron is the first boot of the season, because almost everyone else in that house would have nominated him and gotten rid of him. Even Caro and Liv were like, we love Michael, but in this house, he kind of has to go. Mm-hmm. And I don't see him winning that duel against Frankie. I just don't. So a crucial win there. The rest of his time is really spent on social positioning in terms of getting people to like him. So he avoids eviction twice at 17 and 13. He has the golden key to spare himself from maybe a boot at 15 when Preston wins the co-HOH. So, like, his ability to get people to like him, survives the block twice, gets him a golden key to avoid another nomination. And then at 11, gets into Dancing Queens and is loyal there and has made a bunch of great connections in the end game that where people thought, oh, Michael has me. So his end game is so fascinating. It's just a question of will the jury respect it. I worry a lot that this jury, I mean, again, and maybe not, maybe they will just be hypocrites.
Like his game, I think they're just going to say your game was not enough to beat the person you're sitting next to. I think both can be true here.
I just worried that they were so mad at Trey for doing exactly what Michael did, which was make a lot of people feel good about you, but you only actually had one person in mind, and they were so hurt. Maybe because it was personal to them, I don't know, but they were really mad at Trey for doing it. So I will be intrigued to see how they view Michael doing it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
If this was the same cast, but it was a newbie season, like you're not expected to know like the reputations of some of these players in a newbie season, I think Michael could win the game off of the same gameplay. I just think, like, when you're looking back on this and Carl has said this all season, like, why are you letting Liv, Jabbar, and Megs make the final 6 of this game? And I get that Michael's not as ingrained enough to know their reputation and their histories and stuff, but I think it's more so a credit to, like, his game is good enough to win in a non-returner season. I just don't know that it's gonna get it's going to get flowers. It's just not going to get the most flowers.
I get 5 flowers.
I'm not sure if Michael is familiar with the final questioning. I don't know if he watched Elise versus Liv in 16,
That
and
is
I'm not sure if he watched any other jury questioning in other games, because I know his reality TV forte is the challenge, which has a completely different win condition than other games, and I worry that he is going to be too complimentary, not just to the person he's sitting next to, but towards the jury, and everything is going to be like, oh, this was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. Like, I love you so much. Like, you're amazing.
Keep reading.
You're amazing, which I don't think is how but I don't think is how the jury wants him to be, right? The jury wants him to like own his moves, to maybe even like destroy them a little bit if that's what he needs to do. So
they're hoping he's like they're hoping he's an evil mastermind and that he has mapped out, blueprinted all of their demises. And sadly, that's just not the truth. And I don't think that's what they're going to get, but they're hoping for it. I don't see Michael getting on there being like, I played you all, you fools.
Instead, he'll be like, Megan, oh my gosh, I love you so much. We bonded so much. You're an amazing person. Like, I loved getting to know you. And then that's not what people want.
Is it cheating if he reached out to Io and was like, hi? Like genuinely like, hi, help me figure out how to own my moves. And like without Io giving him any kind of game information, just like, here's what I have how can I say this in a way that is conducive to hear? Is that cheating?
My gut says yes, considering you should not be talking to the players about the season, like specifically.
Okay. Not me gonna be shady too, but Anthony's never done that. So
I wasn't gonna say it.
I knew that to be true, but like also Io has seen these. Is it Io? It's Io.
Is it Io?
But I don't know if he's the person to be like show that cutthroat evil mastermind side either. Like he's a great player, but I also don't think that his style is what the jury want. What this jury wants.
I think that Michael's best chance at the finale in terms of answering the jury's questions is he has to show a really well-rounded, full approach to the game from start to finish. And honestly, like I think that there's just so many factors that are pushing against him that he really has to be able to look at really specific rounds, really specific instances in which he had a certain conversation with someone that buoyed him and in some way got him invited to some of these key groups that ultimately kept him inflated in the game. And I think that there is a way to package his social game in a strategic way, even if it's like bending the truth just a little bit, but in a way that can sound convincing. And I think that's what he has to do.
That's the thing. It doesn't matter if you lie. If you can make it sound intentional, someone might believe you.
That's it.
Lie some more. Make these people think everything you did had foresight. Because what they can do, tell you you're wrong? I mean, I guess they could, but like they don't know that.
They don't live inside your brain.
Exactly. So I very intrigued because he'll be pitching tonight. Guaranteed he'll be in the final two. It's just a question of who will be next to.
I think Michael also really has to pitch. Sorry, K-Pal. Go ahead.
No, I have a different question.
I was just gonna say, I think Michael also just has to really pitch that like sometimes you have to play the game that gets you to the final two. And I think he can say things like, I know comps at the end. Like, I don't know if he's going to say it, but he's like, I'm not going to be the studier. Like, I'm not going to be the good trivia person. Like, sometimes you do have to play the game that gets you to the end. Yeah. And I think that can feel like a cop-out, but like if you can pitch that as like, I'm playing to my strengths, I don't know that anyone can delegitimize that.
Well, my question was, is there a world where Liv or Megan like bomb against Michael? Like, is there something that they potentially could do to like lose themselves the game against Michael in a final two scenario.
I don't know what they could say.
I mean, Liv, unfortunately, has bombed the finale.
yes.
Yes.
So
That's what she does in 16, then yeah, she could absolutely lose against.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully she's learned from 16 that you need to listen to what the jurors are asking, because her biggest issue was that the juror would be like, hey, please answer this question. And she so badly had all of these bullet points she wanted to hit throughout the jury questioning. And because this question didn't hit on this bullet point, she was going to somehow, kick it in there somehow. And they were like, that's not what I asked. And then she would lose track of the question. And it was 8 minutes long, didn't even answer the question. It was so long-winded. So I'm hoping the bullet points she needs to hit, make sure they're in the opening and make sure they're in the closing. Make sure you talk about them, but the questions, you need to just listen to the question and answer it. Don't try and shoehorn in things you want them to know about. That's the point of opening and closing, because you have no clue what they're going to ask about. So make sure it's in opening and closing. Make sure they hear it. And guess what? Put it in both for all I fucking care. Put it in the opening and then at closing be like, and as a reminder, if you didn't hear me the first time, here are all the reasons why I should win. It's the whole point of those speeches. So I just hope this time she's in the moment instead of trying to craft out everything. Because you can't craft out jury questions, because that's their moment. It's the jury's moment to do whatever they
I feel like she's going to have such a strong performance if she makes the final two. And I feel like Megs has given me no reason to think that she would flop against Michael either. I think it's just going to become not so much whether either one of them flop, but whether they say something that offends a juror.
Yeah.
Like if you take something and you say, I'm going to take credit for something that maybe was your move because these jurors all have a lot of ego, is that could burn them a vote or two. I don't know. But
well, I think we can honestly expect that to happen, because a lot of these jurors have been wearing their feelings on their sleeves, and not saying that that's a bad thing, but anywho.
Wonder if we'll get like a "How did your game change?" I'm gonna say for the better.
No, I swear to God, I will remove someone.
We just spent a lot of time talking about like Michael. I just wanted to.
Oh, same. I still want to talk about Liv and Megs.
See if there was what they could do.
Is there a world where we see Megs and Liv take each other instead of Michael?
Absolutely the hell not.
No, Liv hopped on call with Megs yesterday to try and she never was going to honor that deal, but she was going to try and tease it out there. And Megs was giving her a whopping heap of nothing.
Oh, that's what
Meg said.
Yeah,
nothing. Like Liv was trying to kind of throw Michael under the bus, being like, well, Michael told me he was bringing me to the end. Did he say that to you? And Meg's like, yeah, at some point in time. Liv, recently? Oh, I don't know about recently. I don't know. I don't really remember when he said that. Like, truly, Liv has her bowl out, being like, can I have some more? And she's ladling in air. Nothing for you.
I appreciate both perspectives, because I think Liv definitely wants a contingency plan. I don't think that there's a world where she thinks that Michael can beat her. Like, I don't think she would ever. She told us she was not going to honor that, even if Megs made the deal with her. But I think she was just trying to spook Megs into actually having that feeling.
Yeah.
And Megs doesn't need to have that feeling, because she probably feels like she could beat either one of them.
Mm-hmm. And
I just love the idea of having the two best people go up against each other. You know what I mean?
And we'll have it at part 3. We'll have the face off at part 3, and that will be likely.
Wait, have they already had part 2?
Not yet, but
but Michael's not
game
gonna
trivia.
win it.
I mean,
yeah.
Y'all better stop turning my boy out.
You know, unfortunately, finish a crime board in 40 minutes.
Girl, anything can happen. Jesus came back.
When?
Oh.
Like 3 days after.
So he timed out, is what we're saying.
No, but we're done with Michael, even though Michael obviously I think is the wild card sleeper tonight, and I think tonight really depends a lot on him versus Megs and Liv, honestly, and that sucks. But like Megs and Liv have all to lose, nothing really to gain from tonight. They just have to be to par to what people expect them to be, and Michael can gain a lot of traction. It's up to how Michael performs. So I want to talk about Megs. I think Megs' game has been absolutely fucking incredible from start to fucking finish. She came in with such a huge fucking target, and she's won 5 challenges, and she's won them sporadically to keep herself safe, to regain influence, regain that power. She has nominated people that were not good for her and gotten rid of them at opportune times, getting rid of Madison, who they had a wonky relationship, got rid of Preston, who never could trust Megs and could win challenges. Obviously, got rid of Louise, who was also someone who could compete with her in challenges, and they just never had a relationship either. I just think she's won at really key points. She's pivoted at really important points. I think Dancing Queens is one of the most smart decisions I've seen an Orger make, because she was not in a good spot because of how she won the 14 HOH, because Jabbar thinks it was some fucking conspiracy theory and it wasn't. So all of Megan, Jabbar, and Lamont were like, fuck Meg, she's dead to us. And her relationship with Nikki allowed her to be in a good split house. To then when she comes to the jury, she then knows it's time she needs to pivot away from Jabbar and Lamont, and she does. And that pivot, it's just the key connection she makes, even when she's in trouble or in danger, she manages to prolong that danger just a little bit until she can pivot and make it just a little bit further. And that's been her entire game is, oh, she's in danger, got to make a move to make sure that doesn't take me out. And like when Liv's winning all the comps at the end, she makes a pivot with Michael, and Michael ends up thwarting all of that on multiple occasions at Final 7 Live Night and at Final 4 to make sure Megs doesn't go. Obviously, the Final 7, Michael didn't know he was doing that, but like inadvertently did. I just am really impressed with her game. It's just been solid. She's only been a final nominee once all season long, just 2 days ago. I'm just really impressed with how she has been able to weaponize her vote, position herself, win challenges when she needed to, even when she didn't want to, but like they have worked out for her.
And she has no votes to evict.
No votes to evict all season. It's so impressive for someone like a caliber of Megs. Like if I ever saw Megs in an org, she's dead on sight. She did it the second I can.
You say that, but she will do what Megs does, and
that's what I'm saying. Like I'd work my fucking ass off, even if I'm gonna be first boot. I'm gonna fucking try my ass off to get rid of her.
Jabbar said from night 0 in this game, like I gotta get Megs out, and
here we are.
That did not happen.
No,
and he existed in the game for a long time as well, so he obviously was not actively taking her out.
Okay, he did try though.
At his only HOH, he tried and it flopped. She
I don't see how
on that veto.
Cast and you let Megs live Jabbar just moonwalk their asses to the final 6.
It was
But
just
that's going to happen in a cast like this because there's other people that didn't make it that far that you have no business letting get that far.
Yeah, but like you also don't get the same right to say we need to take this shot on so and so, but I don't want to be the one to take it. Like I think you forfeit your right to say anything like that if you're not willing to take them out.
There was a lot of that this season.
A lot of that.
A lot of people being like, I don't want my resume to be too big too early, and taking out Megs would be that. Taking out Jabbar would be that. Taking out Liv would be that. And I mean, Megs didn't fucking care. She threw up Liv fucking round 2 and said,
period. And I respect
that.
And I still respect Megs so much for at least trying.
Yeah. Like she always tried. She always knew who she wanted out, and she tried to make it happen. Every time. She never once said, someone else can do it. She always took the shot. And that's something that I'm very impressed with. Even in round 2, because most of this cast was like, it's too early to do anything. Hell, some people at the final 7 were saying it's too early to do something. In the final 17, she said, it's never too early, babes.
And to be honest, post round 2, Megs was not in a great spot. So you have to admire her recovery. Like, this was not a cakewalk for her at all times.
No.
The jury was not fun for her.
No.
She was really struggling to find her people.
I do think that this is not me trying to take anything away from Megs in the game that she played. Okay. But I do think that the series of events that led to Megs being here in the final 3 was probably like the ideal like win condition for her. Like, and I think you have to factor in the way that luck impacts these games and who wins the competitions, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I think if Megs wins this game, it's because everything lined up in the perfect environment and way for her to win. And I think in a lot of other instances, she probably gets cut a lot sooner just because of her threat level or because of who she is as an order or whatever the case.
Yeah,
I think one of the things that she did such a good job with, though, is not only having layers of protection. So it's like even when she's not with Lamont and Nikki, like they are protecting her more so out of the dancing queens that they have their guns targeted at. Or when she's perceived in a group with Sarah and Erica, people are way more pressed by Sarah and Erica.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that Megs really, like, whether it was direct and intentional or not, like she definitely benefited from that, in that she always had people feeling less bad about her than someone else.
Yeah,
absolutely. Things had to line up. I mean, Nikki splitting the house the ways they did when Megs was in a ton of hot water, when Megs was not doing well in the early pre-jury, she was losing Rizzo. She didn't get her Christian vote that she wanted. Like the HOHs that won worked out for her. Even when Liv won and we all thought Liv's going to take the shot, she didn't. Things just have to work out that way. The fact that Dancing Queens did not turn on each other at 7 like we thought that they would worked out for her. So yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of luck involved in Megs' game, but I think absolutely impressive that it ended up working that way. And for whatever reason, she instilled a little bit of fear in people. Try it. I mean, the Jabbar round when he takes the shot and she goes, and you thought, you tried it. And people got a little nervous after that. They're like, oh shit, if we're going to go after Megs, we have to make sure we're not going to miss. Because she absolutely tore up that veto easily. So she's just really impressed me from someone who I did not think would make it to the jury just because she's such a huge fucking threat. But she did that. So I'm really proud of her. But really, there's just not a lot that she can say tonight that's going to surprise people. There's just very little she can say tonight because her game's been pretty out in the open with Dancing Queens being exposed. Like, there's really nothing that she can say that's going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't know you did that. Like, no one's going to be shocked. Like, everyone knows that Nikki tried to protect Megs at the split house. Duh. The split houses looked like literally, duh. Like, there's just nothing she can say that's going to shock these people, which is always a con.
The only thing she has, though, and I don't even know if this worked to her benefit or not, but if you remember the little lie that she planted in the beginning in the pre-jury, where she basically gets Rizzo and Preston against one another, I think that's like an impressive thing that she never told anyone, and it shows a little more chaotic, villainous side of herself. That it's like, if she's really reaching for something y'all didn't know, that would be the thing. And I don't know, like, ultimately I haven't followed the chain to see what that payout is for her, because I actually think that ended up worse for her game.
She lost Rizzo because of it.
But I think she can say that, like, these were, like, maybe she can say, like, I planted seeds and here's an example, and, like, you know, they don't always work out, but, like, those things help. And if she can just say, this is one example of a seed I planted, yeah, I'd be pretty shocked by it.
Yeah, so intrigued for her. I mean, comes down to part 3 for her, so I'm super excited for her to see if she can flex one more time, that she can win another comp when it matters, and see if she can lock up her victory. I do think Megs has like, as much as I think people are open to voting for Michael, I don't think Michael stands a chance against Megs. I just think that Megs has very few blemishes on her story, where there are blemishes on Liv's, where jurors, if they really just want to vote for Michael, can pretend that those blemishes are enough to swing the other way. So I just think against Megs, it's a wrap, because ultimately a lot of the big moves that Michael makes near the end are heavily beneficial to Megs as well. So I think if Megs wins the part 3, it is a wrap, done deal. But let's talk about Liv. I think Liv is the story of the season. I think the story, dare I say, of the series for me. I just think her story is fucking incredible, from being stuck in the worst house in round 1. Braun is not where you wanted to fucking be. If you were getting sorted into a house, it was sure as hell not Braun, because that house was a fucking disaster. but Liv getting very lucky with Michael winning shockingly, who Michael had said preseason, if I see Liv, I don't know about her, but managed to really work that relationship to her benefit. She doesn't get what she wants. She wants Megan to go, but instead has to let Preston go and pray that he wins a duel. Preston then, by fucking God, came back in that duel, and Preston ultimately, that pays dividends. The fact that Liv had the foresight to go, I know Preston is leaving, and I'm going to go tell him the truth that he's leaving, because Preston thought he actually stood a chance with Carol and Liv as voters, and he's like, no, they're not voting to save you, and I'm going to prioritize you, and that relationship paid off at the final 15 when Preston cast the tie-breaking vote to save her, and give her a golden key to add to that. Liv's game in the pre-jury is a fucking roller coaster. It is ups and downs, more downs. She is down early with losing Preston and not getting the way she wants. He comes back. What a high. Oh, and now Megs is the HOH, the person that I put the least amount of effort into because I was so focused on my own house. Now I'm on the block and I'm going home unless I win this veto. Pulls it out. She's now the HOH. Doesn't take the shot at Megs and is seen as having like a pretty shit HOH reign. To then having to need the key 2 rounds later when Megs wins the HOH. It's just a bunch of ups and downs for her. She's then the HOH in the split house. What a high. And then she loses her ally in Caro. Like, it is just a series of unfortunate events for her. Anytime something happens that's good, it's followed immediately by something that's bad. And it's not until live night, or not live night, but like pre-live night, where Dancing Queens comes together and she finally sees a path for herself. She finally is like, I can finally see the end game, because for a long time she was just aiming to make the jury. She's like, I will be lucky to make the jury at this point, let alone anything further than that. And finally, for the first time, Liv was like, I can go the distance now. I can do this. And she milked Dancing Queens for every fucking thing it was worth. She won that. She found the secret advantage, and she instilled the fear of God into that group, saying, you go against us, I will ruin you with this advantage. With all the menu of advantages I have, by her telling them what it was, it scared Megan and Trey from doing anything against them. And that is what kept Dancing Queens in for so long together. She had great relationships with Trey. She rebuilt with Megs to the point of getting to the final 5 together without taking a shot at one another. Her relationship with Michael was still good up until the final 6. And her relationship with Jabbar was also very good. Like, Jabbar was not going to take a shot at Liv because of the open and honest communication they had with each other. She had such a turn and such a pivot at the jury phase. And when everything was not going right for her, the jury hit and nothing could go wrong for her. Absolutely fucking nothing. Until we get to the final 6. And this is where there are a lot of question marks for the jury around, should she have taken the shot at Megs? Should she have made Trey the sole voter at 4? All these kind of question marks, and they want to know more into her brain as to like why she made the decisions and if she's happy with the decision she made. Obviously, if she's sitting at the end, I think people can't really say that she made the wrong decision, because clearly she got there. And she has, count it, 8 comp wins. 8. She's won 8 competitions throughout the entire season. It's so fucking impressive to me. But her story is a story of resiliency and never giving up. And that is just something that I'm just so impressed with from her, because it's been so easy for her to throw in the towel and say, fuck it, I'm tired.
And that's what Preston did.
Yeah, Preston said, I'm tired and I'm okay going home because I'm exhausted from being thrown under the bus, not getting what I want, and just being hurt by the people. And Liv felt that way for a long time. I mean, Liv Hell was voted out by 5 people at the final 15, and she still said, no, bitch, I'm here and I'm going to fight until you say I'm evicted. And guess what?
And I love Preston. I'll never get over him essentially giving up and being exhausted from 5 days. I don't know how long he lasted, but not long.
He lasted like 17, 18 days.
Okay, like I said.
I mean, I think he was up against harder odds and no one that was fighting for him in those scenarios. So, like, I get why you're kind of giving up at that point.
Yeah, Lamont was told he was evicted by this house, and he said, "No, bitch, I'm not giving up." And Lamont then flipped the house. You never say
no.
no.
It's easy to flip one vote. I mean,
sure, but
yeah, look at Louise. She was flipped like 5 times this season.
Well, and if Megs played, with everything kind of just like aligning to help her, Liv showed the power of when things are not helping you out. How do you persevere?
Yeah.
Kadri, can you not put deodorant on stream? Is that what you're doing right now? Girl, what is wrong? Like, babe.
Get ready with me.
The thing I will say about Liv too, because we were talking about this and I was wrong on one statement, but I'm correct in saying if Liv makes the final two, she's the first person in our series to ever make the final two twice if she makes it there. Yeah. Which again, lobotomy for letting her get here again. But I think like so much in watching her, like her spirals and just her thoughts on everything. I think so many of us on Prod have said this, that we kind of see ourselves in these insecurities and these feelings that she's having. We see a lot of ourselves in the, like, I can identify so hard and emotionally with a lot of the things that she said, or like thinking about the aerodynamics of a spoon and a cup so that you can break a competition, gathering everything you've ever seen in OTEV so that you can break a competition. Like, I just relate so hard to Liv's gameplay and her approach and her passion and how much she wants it. And I think we have all kind of been there, like at different moments when we've heard her, whether it's been just talking to her ourselves or hearing her on calls or reading her chat. I agree so much that she is the story of the season. I think, whereas I think that Megs has maybe played a stronger game when you start to let the chips fall. Like, if you're looking at consistency in a strong game and the story of the season, it is Liv. And I think that like she is such a good representative of the season if she does win, because her story is from start to finish. And like, if you were watching this as an edited show, you'd watch her in the beginning and say, there's no way she makes it to the end. There's no way she wins, because all of this stuff is happening and it just feels too good to be true that she'd get there.
She's giving Taylor Hale, and like early, she's like, there's no way Taylor's going to make it that far. And then the leftovers form, which is kind of like Dancing Queens, and that rise as far as she can use it. And then Taylor and Liv both are winning comps at the end to get herself there. Like, it's just, it's a story you root for. It's a story that is just compelling. And like, it's going to be hard for these jurors to not see that story from start to finish and go, fuck, damn, she had so many adversities and she still made it here.
And I think that like one thing about Liv's game, which makes it so hard to look at some of her like negative self-talk, is like, my game is so embarrassing, I'm not rootable. And it's like, if you only knew like how rootable you were, because I think people are
love, baby.
Like watching her win the veto at Final 5, and what a moment that was for all.
She's having a hard time seeing that right now, just because of the fact that she got bamboozled at Final 4. And she's like, and that reminds her of when she got bamboozled at Final 13. Like, I did say bamboozled, yes, you can laugh at me. It's just reminding her of that, and I think that's why she's feeling negatively. I really pray that does not impact her ability to present herself, because I got emotional yesterday watching her talk to Megs about how everyone in this game has had a chance to redeem themselves except for Liv.
Yeah.
Because Liv's redemption was flopping the final 2.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there watching her get emotional, and then it made me emotional to realize that like that is the case here. And it's like everyone has redeemed themselves. That was the question we asked them about why they wanted to play again. What does your redemption story look like? And every single person who made it to the end game has had that opportunity to redeem themselves. And Liv is like, I'm on the precipice of my opportunity. I had to work so fucking hard to get to the opportunity to redeem myself. And now it might get taken away from me. And it's just, how do you not root for that? Like, it's so hard to not root for her
Absolutely.
to get that opportunity because it's just, it's
And this
what
is
a story.
And this is not to diminish Michael or Megs and how bad they want it. Nobody wants it more than Liv. Liv has never won an org, ever. And and she called her prod chat yesterday, and like I was getting emotional as well because she's like, I've never won. It has always been some mistake I've made that takes it all away, it rips it all away, and like I've been there too. Like when there's a game that you play and you're like, I fucking killed that, and I still didn't fucking win. And you just get into your head of like, can I ever win? Am I ever good enough to win? Like, when will I ever not fuck it up for myself?
Yeah.
And she so badly wants to prove to herself that she's not a fuck up. She's not a failure. And for her, very much how Emily Flippins at the beginning of season 45, if I don't walk away the winner, then I'm a failure. And this is a waste of fucking time. And that's kind of how she's in her mind right now. If I don't walk away the winner, then I'm a failure. I fucked this whole thing up and it's my fault. And as much as I don't want to root for her more than anyone else. It's so hard not to root for someone to get their first win who so badly
it's
wants
very
it.
much like when you're looking at Megs versus Liv, it's very much like that David versus Goliath kind of thing, where it's like Megs is here, like you're surprised they let her get here, but you're not really surprised she could do it. You're not really surprised Liv could do it, but like again, like the odds were stacked more against her. And I think, out of the two, I love them both. I think like I'm in one hand, it's like Meg's played the better game. She deserves to win, but it's like Liv deserves to win. She has done more. Like and I can't help but like root for Liv a bit more.
I literally am not rooting for either of them. I'm not picking. I just refuse to pick someone to root for. Like
I'm so happy with either outcome.
Yeah. And if Michael comes out tonight and fucking wows this fucking jury and gets them to vote for him, then damn. Fuck. If you out talk Megs and Liv tonight, fucking impressive. Like it is gonna be a sight that I'm ready to watch. I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever is gonna happen tonight, and whoever wins will have earned it. Obviously, that's how that works. But if Liv or Megs is to win, like it's gonna be just so impressive, just from a start to finish angle of just like. How?
So since we probably it's super unlikely that this would happen, I'm curious what everyone's predictions would be for a Liv versus Meg's final two. Like, what do you guys think would happen? Because it's such a toss up. Like
5-4.
Sarah
5-4.
I think Sarah votes Meg's.
Yeah.
Sarah votes Megs.
I think Erica ultimately votes for Meg's as well.
Yeah.
I think Trey Liv.
Trey votes for Liv. Michael votes for
Megs.
His final two. Yeah, Megs.
I think
Megan votes for Liv, I think.
Megan votes for Liv, yeah.
I think Liv can, if Liv and Megs are in the final two, I think Liv can honestly sway Michael.
She might be able to.
I think, well, if Michael got third, he's just voting for whoever didn't cut him, in my opinion.
I think Lamont votes for Liv.
Lamont and Jabbar, I think, would vote for Liv.
Nikki, I have no fucking idea.
Well, I think Lamont votes for Megs because he keeps saying in the jury chat, like, they were like, who won HOH? And he's like, the winner of BBH20. Like, I think Lamont is very high on Megs.
But Lamont's rankings had Liv at number 1 and Megs at number 2. So I don't know. I don't know.
It would be knockout.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
Because Jabbar told Liv at Final 6, if you make it to the end and you comp your way out and you prove me wrong, you get my vote every time. So I feel like Jabbar definitely votes for Liv. I don't know. I don't know about Louise or Nikki at all. I mean, I think they both respect both of their games a fuck ton. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I so badly would want the bloodbath of Liv versus Meg. I so badly would love for, like, those two titans to go head to head, toe to toe, and fight for these jury votes that don't ever, like, are not even thinking that would even be a possibility, and they're correct for not thinking it's a possibility. Because right now they're in the mindset of it's Michael versus someone, and can we justify voting for Michael in this situation is the discussion happening right now. Like, can we justify it? What does he have to say to earn our vote? So Yeah, I don't know. I think Megs maybe squeaks it out 5-4. I don't know though. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's tight. It's close though.
What do you realistically? How many votes? Because I think it is inevitable that Michael's there.
Yeah.
How many votes do you think Michael squeaks out tonight?
1 or 2, maybe.
1. Yeah, 1 maybe. But again, it comes down to is he prepared? Does he come in and like show up, show out? Is he able to say the things the jury wants to hear? Right now, I don't think that. I mean, again, we've never seen him do it, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my big issue right now is, and it's solely rooted in competitions, is if you can't do a crime board when you have your notes with you, I find it hard for me to think that you're going to be able to articulate a game that you don't even remember. Like, how are you going to articulate these rounds where you were influential or not influential if you can't even remember what happened this season? That's just a concern.
Yeah.
I don't see him like writing a speech or like writing notes or like anything like that.
Yeah, that's a concern I have as well. But again, I mean, he can change my mind. Like, I'd like to see him prove us all wrong. I mean, like, not to make it about Gavin, but 4 months ago, when Gavin was in the final 3 and possibly winning, I was like, I don't know if Gavin will be able to, like, because Gavin's game pre-jury was a little bit of a mess, and I was like, I don't know if the jury will look past Gavin's where the position Gavin was in early. I was like, I don't know if the jury will look past it. And Gavin made it into a story. Gavin's like, no, here's my story. And here's what I overcame. And here's why me floundering early was actually a pro to my game and why it benefited me in the end. So, like, anything can be turned around at the end. Like, it's just a question of, are you capable of crafting it? Like, Gavin and Crystal and Lizzie are all examples of people who came to final jury questioning and were able to convince people of the opposite. That's, no, what you think of me is wrong, and I'm here to convince you that you are wrong, and they did it.
And I'll say it again. I say it every season, and I'll say it again. Lie. Lie.
Lie.
The game is not over. Reframe your story. Make it sound like it was intentional. Make it sound like it was what you wanted to happen. Reframe everything to your advantage.
It's why I am and always will be high on Michael's move to take out Trey, because in his mind, he just saw it as an automatic. Because, again, get to the final 2 and then say what you got to say. Yeah. And I think because you can lie, you can flip people. This series has shown it time and time again. And maybe that is something he gets a bit more credit for.
So
yeah, my prediction that but so I say this because it bears weight on what else I have to say. My prediction is that tonight is Liv versus Michael, and I also worry if Michael says something that Liv is quick to counter him and say, like, no, that was not your move, that was my move, and like, here's the reasons why, and could potentially turn the jurors off.
Yeah.
I do worry
that as well. So that's another like concern that I have. And I think I think Michael, and I say this with love, I think Michael does not win. The other person he takes loses.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. I would agree. Like, it's very valid.
If that happens and Liv loses in the finale again, I'm gonna be heartbroken.
I'm gonna be heartbroken
as well. I would as well. I would hope that people could,
like, I think I'd almost prefer her get cut at 3 than lose in final 2, because I think it would be.
If Liv loses in the finale, like in the final 2, the way she did in 16, I'm booking a flight to LA.
Yeah, I don't think that it'll be like that though. I think Liv just did not have a great relationship with the jurors in 16. I think these people do respect her as a person, and they respect her like gameplay a bit more. Like they acknowledge. And the thing is if you can't see the game Liv has been playing, I get that you have to be able to tell your story, but like Liv's game has been in your face
from the start,
from the beginning.
from the very beginning. So that's the thing. Like the jury has said a phrase that I love a lot, which is you cannot win a game in 90 minutes. You will not win the game. This is about explaining the game you've done for 36 days. And that's why I have faith that Megs or Liv will win tonight, because you're not Michael's. I just don't think Michael's gonna be able to win the game in 90 minutes.
Yeah, they've told us their game all season.
They've done it for 36, 37 days now as to why they should be the winner. And it's why they've been so high on both of them for so long. It's why the jury has had them in their top 2 most season long, because their games have been evident. There's nothing to explain. So as much as they want to give Michael the benefit of the doubt, I just don't think he'll be able in 90 minutes to convince them that his game is stronger or more worthy. And that's the thing, is if it's, I guess let's get to predictions. It's very likely we have Liv and Megs in part 3. Maybe Michael surprises us in game trivia in part 2. And if he does, then you know what? That maybe adds more to his winner equity. If he's able to win part 3 and cut Liv, like that could be the game-winning move right there. But that's why I don't think he'll be there. And I think Megs or Liv will get the game-winning move of cutting the other at the end. Who do you think wins part 3 of Megs and Liv?
Liv.
Who do we think
That's
wins?
a crapshoot. It's always such a crapshoot.
It is a crapshoot. I do, just like for the story of it all, I think Liv will win.
I think it's Liv.
I don't know.
Because
Liv does not make it this far and not win part 3.
Well, the other thing is I think that even if it ties, so even if Megs goes head to head with Liv, because I don't think Liv is just going to flop part 3.
No, she's memorized every single number from this way till Tuesday.
Yeah, but if she gets to a tiebreaker, she's winning the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
because she knows every number she needs.
Yeah, she just has to.
I think it is very, like, if Liv loses part 3, it's by 1 point. But it's not going to be in a tiebreaker, and it's not going to be like a blowout. And I think that Liv likely wins part 3, and that's what we see as the conclusion. Like, I need to see. I'm so going to be, again, don't want to pick a winner between the two of them, but so much of me wants to see Liv redeem herself at the end in a final 2 again, because that is such like a full circle to her BBH story, and I think really her org story.
Well, we won't know until it's there. So, any final comments? Gavin, what are you hoping? What are you hoping? Who's going to fill your shoes? What are you hoping is the story that ends your reign?
I honestly think that, like, the way that everybody need to show out at the finale and at in these last 2 comps, like, I honestly, whoever wins is obviously going to be the person who deserves it. And I think that I am very happy to know that if Michael has an incredible finale performance and pulls out a win against the odds, that's going to be an incredible story. And I also think that both Megs and Liv have a full body of work as well that they can really own and be proud of. And so regardless of who wins in the final 3, I really do think that it's going to be someone who I'm going to be proud to welcome to the winner's circle. And it's going to be electric. I'm actually very, very excited to watch what happens tonight.
Nice callback to the full body of the work.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Not full body.
So, Gavin, how fast would you be targeting the winner in Winners at War?
I'd love for them to be my final 2. Absolutely.
Yeah. Answer.
Right answer.
Yeah, the only correct answer right now. Final 2 with everyone, all the winners. Final 2.
That's right.
But yeah, so we'll be lots of things to check in tonight. 3 p.m. is the jury roundtable led by Lee and Kadri and Tay. I think that's
probably just me and Tay if Kadri's going to Hunger Games right now. 3 hours.
Is it that long?
It's 3 hours.
Oh, fucking fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, maybe not Kadri then.
I guess I'm going to see that today. I was thinking about going to see that.
Girl, you're not going to be there at 3.
It's almost 1 o'clock now.
I'm Central.
Yeah, but 3
okay, but then it's at 2. Then it's like 2 Central.
So 2 Central.
Yeah.
The movie's 3 hours, babes. Your movie starts at noon.
Time doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it starts
Anyway.
at 3 o'clock, whatever. Yeah, we just syndicate
Yeah,
it.
I'll probably showing up to the jury roundtable about 30 minutes late.
Probably more
An
than
hour and 30
Probably
minutes.
like an
late.
hour, love. Anyway, moving on. But jury roundtables at 3 p.m. Eastern. Ideally, we have everyone. Jabbar's taunting that he might not be there, but his contract says he has to be there, so we'll be seeing him there. I will slap him until he joins. But hopefully at 3 p.m. we see every juror, and I think this will be an electric roundtable because there are a lot of thoughts regarding our final three, specifically around Michael, and I think that will be a large point of discussion during the roundtable and what needs to be said tonight, and I'm very intrigued.
Yeah. I'm also going to try and connect with Trey for his exit interview at some point before the finale. That's the goal. So we'll see.
We'll see. We have that. 6 p.m. will be part 2. Game trivia between Liv and Michael, and then finale night starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we'll kick off with part 3 between Megs and the winner of part 2. So super exciting. And then by hopefully, I pray to God at the latest 11 o'clock Eastern, we're crowning a winner. I pray, sweet Jesus, that this is quick.
Y'all bother Josh and tell him that he needs to keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
He loves to let it ramble, and he knows that. So that's not shade. It's the truth.
I don't mind coming off of mute and saying, "Hey, please stop talking. Let's
Again,
keep this moving."
I've got no issue letting it linger as long as you're asking questions that actually are affecting how you're voting. If you're not actually asking a question that's affecting how you're voting, bitch, get off the StreamYard.
Yeah,
and stop asking questions only about yourself. You lost.
If anybody asks, if anyone pulls a Jeff, I will be fighting. Period.
Love you, Jeff.
I do love you, Jeff. I do have to text you back though.
Please do. Please text.
Maybe not while driving.
Yeah, also that.
I'm parked.
Any last thoughts? Gavin, you're off of mute. You came off mute. I don't know if you wanted to say something.
Oh, no, I was just off mute. I'm excited for the finale. That's all I can say.
Yeah. So
what a fucking fantastic season, honestly.
A great season.
Literally, so just to speak on it from a production standpoint, when we ended 15, and then again, no shade to anyone involved with that, we were just worn out. We were done with it. We were like, should we even continue the series? We were just over it. We were just over it. So we were very trepidatious about having a returning season again, even though we knew we wanted to do it. We were just very nervous about it. Yeah. And especially those of us who were there at the 15 of it all, we were just very nervous. So to see it having run its length, be super incredible, just super satisfying, ending so many amazing storylines for all of these people to get to come back and do it again and have a story and either, have these really cool parallels between their original season and their second chance, has just been so incredibly wonderful to see. They've kept it non-toxic. They've kept it very game and very fun and friendly. And yeah, I'm just very happy with that and thankful that even though there will be an extended break before BBH21, that we are not in the fear of being we all want to come back, I think. Yeah. And I think that's a sigh of relief. Yeah,
so I said this the last tea, but this has we joke about the 15, but I was in the same boat. This has restored my faith in returner games, and shown kind of how they can be great.
Yeah.
So I have no notes. Just really, really fun. I also think it's very hard for returner games to even rank high. I think in the whole grand scheme of seasons, even when you look at the real shows. And I think this ranks very high. I don't know. We obviously don't have the full piece to be able to say where it ranks, but this is gonna be in the top quarter, I think, for me.
Oh, this is definitely a top season.
Yeah.
Will it break the top 5?
It'll be close. It'll be close.
Definitely need some space from it to
Yeah, we need the winner.
Make an objective decision on that.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, the early parts of jury are just kind of a little dull, but like that's okay. But like everything else has been absolutely fire and electric and has been unpredictable, and that's like the pre-jury has been so fucking fun. And then this end game, like final 6 on, has been really fun. But like 11-7, it's like, all right, we get it, Dancing Queens, you're winning. We got it.
I think
really
back to like how much was going on this pre-jury and how things were really not entirely predictable, and even thinking back to like the Frankie Preston duel and how many people were watching, like how invested people were in all of that happening.
Yeah. It's been great. It's been a great season, and I look forward to what's next.
I said in the VL this morning, I don't know how it ranks like game, like season wise yet, but for like passion and engagement and just like heart, it's like S tier. Like
that's great.
Top tier.
Yeah. So
from start to finish.
So thank you to the VL. Y'all make the season too. Like as much as like from our production side, we love the game to be good, but like y'all keep us invested as well. Like the fact that y'all are invested, you have questions, you're tuning into the live confessionals, you're tuning into this, or tuning into live nights and anything we do live, like y'all make the experience worth it too. Like if we did it all and had, I mean, we would be happy if we did this and had 0 people watching. We'd still be happy with the outcome, but like knowing that y'all are still invested makes it worthwhile too. So like thank y'all as well. It's like y'all still make it worth it as well. But that's all we have for the final tea for probably 7 months, 8 months. Like we're taking a long break.
Who knows? I don't think it's been discussed yet, but
we don't know an exact timing. I would say don't expect anything till summer, just because of a lot of our work schedules and the things.
And Josh
and babies.
Josh is having a child, so like I wouldn't expect anything from BBH as a BBH season until summer at the earliest. But we'll have other things happen.
Beast in the Hometown season 3 is coming back. BBH Alias season 2 is coming back. We have a lot of ideas for like other games. I know that they want to do more Chase, more Weakest Link, potentially Hometowns Trivia League season 2 on the horizon. Like there's a lot
we'll likely be on our other hats as well.
Yeah, we pray that you will stick around and hang out with us because that's
we'll post the community server if you're not already in it. So we'll post it.
I'll do that right now.
Yeah, we'll post it right now. So join it if you're not there, because we do a bunch of shit off season. So like you're never without something happening in our community. Music League is happening. Blake will bring that back whenever he is ready to do that as well. So a lot going on. So stick around in our community. We do a lot, even though there will be a good break between this and our next BBH season, just because of life. And let's milk the season for as good as it was. Let's reminisce for as long as we can. But we're gonna peace on out for the final tea of 2023. So for me, Lee, Stokes, K-Pal, Kadri, and your current still reigning winner, Gavin Cho, for another like 9 hours. Longer than that. Math's hard. Another 10 hours. But for us, we're peacing on out. We'll catch in the Discord and be there for sure at finale night at 9 p.m. Eastern, as we will crown ourselves a 20th winner of BBH. Bye, everybody.